So I wanted to thank you and thank Domingo as well to set up this time in the program with Timio and the team. It's a great honor, obviously, to be almost closing these 2 high-intense days of very high-quality days of the conference, like every year. It's also a challenge because, yes, there's been discussions about the VSF mentions here and there, and actually there's a lot of question marks about what is the VSF and what isn't it. And so I'm going to try to solve this in the next 14 minutes now. But the thing I want to say, thank you to Domingo, I want also to say thank you to the board of Centesimus Annus, and in the name of all the members of Centesimus Annus. And why am I saying this? Is because the board this year put in the mission statement, the 2017 statement of Centesimus Annus, the VSF, put the VSF as a prolongation, practical way of implementing solidarity. And that is a very important statement because, as Lorenzo just said, His Eminence Cardinal Parolin yesterday in his speech referred to the fact that when he received the mission statements of the 2017, he saw the mention of the VSF, and he said that is a very important action because actually there's a call from the Holy Father to really act upon his calls for reducing and fighting poverty and inequality. So thank you, and thank you in the name of all the members, not just me or the team that has so far put and created the VSF, because the VSF is coming from you. I'm relatively young in the Centesimus Annus Pontifice Association Foundation. I've been here for 2 years, but I've been very much struck by this, and I come from a financial background, an investment background, by this notion. And I think this notion is extremely powerful if it's put in right way, and it is your work. So it's great that your work has been recognized and now put at the forefront of the mission of the foundation. So, and just before I go to the slides, I have a few slides. There's many statistics. I mean, that now show as you can't negate climate change, despite whatever you think. You can't negate the progression and the social decay and the progression of social exclusions, especially in the developed economies. Every one of you in this room have, maybe in his home or very close to his home, in his family, a young, very high qualified youth from 15 to 30 years old without a job. And 30 years earlier, 30 years ago when I was graduated, it never came out of my mind that I would have any problem finding a job. So it is a real problem. The second stat I want to tell you is that, which is, I think, a marker, a very strong marker of economic development, is life expectancy. You would expect that when growth happens, life expectancy grow again, and that's the marker of where economic countries are going to the development scale. But this year, the official statistics released 2 months ago by the Office of Actuaries in the UK have proven that actually life expectancy is receding in the UK, and in a big number, not an insignificant number. We're talking about 2 to 3 years. We know it's going to be exactly the same in France in next year when the INSEE is going to publish the statistics, and it is highly anticipated as well that it will be in the US as well, a phenomenon. So when the US, France, UK, main developed economies starts to see receding life expectancy, that is something that, should concern all of us. What is the direct link with exclusion? I don't know, but there is something really significant at work here. Another thing which is significant at work is that for the first time since the 19th century, the new generation, our kids, your kids, are going to be poorer than you. Okay, the new generation is going to be poorer than the previous generation. It happened before at times at war, obviously, but not over the last 60 years without war in the core of Europe. So that, again, is a fundamental problem. So now let me go into more the presentation, if I know how to manipulate the... Yes, so what is the VSF? And what is the history of the VSF? And I'm trying to demystify some of the potential confusion or ideas. It's very simple. It is about promoting social inclusion. It is about fighting social exclusion. And we summarize it into a motto, which is helping people to help themselves. So it's not the very first level of emergency care, which is fundamental. It is the second level, which takes from there and try to re-put people into the society through jobs, through social inclusion, through education, through different activities, to earn and be dignified agents of their lives, as Pope Francis is saying. And this is not an easy task to do. But we have very clear marching orders. Pope Francis made it very clear, and yes, this is clearly linked to common good. It has been translated in the Foundation mission statement of this year, which is an extremely important also marching order. And finally, again, as I said, it was recognized by Cardinal Parolin yesterday. So how do you do this? You can't just say, well, we'll try to do it. So the VSF itself, international itself, is not going to try to do it because we can't. Because if you want to do this, it takes highly skilled persons, because to take someone who's homeless and rehabilitate him from homeless state to any kind of activity, social activity, job, volunteering, whatever it is, takes time, takes helping him sometimes even against his own will, because it's very high likely that he's addicted to substance like alcohol or drugs. So you need skilled people, you need long-term programs, you need personalized one-to-one knowledge, personalized training. And that is not a new central body that can do that. But there's lots of charities and organizations that are actually doing this. In our own countries, where I was just mentioning this social decay and this quite frightening statistic that happens. So put it very simply, the role of the VSF is to create an umbrella to help those organizations to do their jobs. And how we're going to do that? We're going to do that by raising awareness. Someone said yesterday, probably, Catholic social teaching is the best kept secret of the Catholic Church. It's true. Nobody knows enough about that. And it is so much needed. It is, it's even irrespective of whether you have the faith, the Catholic faith or not, it is really the thing that is a philosophical, fundamental aspiration of everybody. Actually, the youth people respond highly positively to that. They are very, very motivated by those. So we need to raise awareness. We need to give good news, whether they're fake or real. We need to give good news and not just fake or real bad news, because there are a lot of good things to it. So we need to raise awareness, and that's what the VSF will do. It will build a brand, and through that brand, we'll select and research entities, programs, charities at the local levels within the community, those communities where they can do one-to-one personalized programs, and try to do in parallel fundraising, but the fundraising will be to be distributed, not to be retained at a central body. The central body actually should normally have very, very little cost. And if we get some volunteering, maybe we can even do that without any cost. Because again, the hard work is going to be done at the local level, because again, you need those people who have been doing that for many, many years, who know their communities, who work with the parishes. They need to be obviously a relay through the local archbishops, and then you can generate a lot of positive momentum. So this is what we're going to do, and it's going to be decentralized, it's going to be grassroots, it's going to be through volunteering, mentoring, offering skills set also to these organizations. Because all of these organizations, and I've been discussing with some of you over the last 2 days, knowing that I would speak about the VSF, saying, well, you know, I'm doing this, or I know this fantastic organization here in Spain or in Italy or in Belgium, in Germany, but we need this, we need that. So everyone needs something. So the VSF can, by creating this community of different charities, raising money through donors, high-level donors, bring meaningful funding, but also as well also meaningful resources, human resources in terms of mentoring and volunteering. Oh, sorry, I mentioned this. So the history, I mentioned it, it comes from the foundation. So what is the VSF today? It's very easy. We just incorporated a company in the UK, in London, actually, which is the best way the standard way of creating a charity in the UK. It is not registered as a charity yet. You know, it's in the process. We filed with the charity commissions of England and Wales. The trustees, well, you see the trustees, I think they speak for themselves. It's a fantastic endorsement and a fantastic mark of quality, of a high degree of exigence in terms of the work that's going to be done with Chairman Domingo Sugrañez-Biquel, Lorenzo, who's been also chairman of the foundation, Alois, who's been a board member for many, many years, Joseph Bonici, who actually wrote the seminal paper on the VSF, which I read and enjoyed very much. And I think you received a letter from Mario Draghi, and Governor Draghi also was very, very impressed by your work and with some words of encouragement. And myself, where I tried to make it happen. You know, I was based in London, I have an infrastructure, I have creating a new firm, I have some means, so I helped to make it happen. But fundamentally, those 6 people created a structure. We have an organization, we have a company, but to make it something, to make it what, as I said, an umbrella that will join organizations and create what we call the community of helping hands, a community of holding hands, we need all of you. I mean, the 6 people can't do any of this. You know, we can do some of it, but we need all of you. So if you don't appropriate this program, we'll never go anywhere. We have to. We need to rely on your experience, your knowledge. You've been involved. You've been doing fantastic things in these domains for many, many years. You can help us. You can help me. Getting better. We need to hear your voice. We need to hear your opinion. Nothing is written in stone for the moment. We just created the tool. But without that, you can't do nothing. So it's there for us to use it and to make it and make an imprint as the Pope Francis asked us to do. So the mission, I mentioned it's to promote social inclusion. We will support existing entities locally. So it will be a network. I think that's the best way to describe it. So it's a network of grassroots, decentralized charities and organizations. There's 3 criteria that we, when we think about social inclusion, we say, okay, what does that mean? We try to put that under 3 different groupings. The first one is integration of marginalized communities. I mentioned homeless people. It could be refugees, it could be migrants, it could be ex-convicts. As you know, 95% of ex-convicts reoffend if they're not helped. We selected 5 projects. I don't have the time to present them, but each of them are deeply rooted in their communities and do one-to-one, and you can find information on them in the network, in the draft website. And here, you see that quote from Pope Francis, which is very eloquent. I think it is very inspiring. And now that I've heard the last ding, I'm just going to finish on this thing. So what I think we can do now, there's three things you could do, we have to do. The first thing is donate. We need to donate a little bit of money to get it off the ground, but also especially to start channeling some of the funds to the institution. So for example, if each of you in this room give 200 euros, which is a third of a newspaper for 1 year, you know, we can fund Sant'Egidio. Within Sant'Egidio, they're creating this computer IT room to help and train and learn Spanish to migrants, homeless people, and re-put them into work. Participate is you manifesting yourself. There's a website, you put your name, you say, okay, I want to help. I can help. And the third thing is advocate. You know a program, you know something that is happening which is fantastic, that can help or needs help, put their name and let us know it. And finally, thank you. But before that, I would like just to invite you to look on YouTube. Actually, you'll see that. Recently, Pope Francis held a private audience to the European leaders on the 60-year anniversary of the Treaty of Rome. And I don't know if you've seen that speech from Pope Francis. It's on YouTube. I would really recommend you to see it. Usually, Pope Francis is, you know, has a really wonderful face of really a smile and a really open person. But in that speech, you can see he's upset. He's not nice. There's the 27, because Theresa May is not there. There's the 27 head of states or prime ministers. And he gives them a lesson. I mean, he teaches them it's like, you know, kids in the kindergarten, and he tells them, look at you. Look at what you've done. Remember the founders, the parent founders of European Union, the ideal. The ideal was solidarity. The ideal was something bigger than just economic matters. And look at you. Look what you've been doing with all this. Look how you shut your ears and eyes. And I don't want Pope Francis to tell us tomorrow or next year, Domingo, look at you. What have you done? And you know, if Pope Francis gives us his audience tomorrow, as he did last year, it's not because he's not busy. And I think he's very busy. But I think he does it because I think he believes it's crucial, because he knows that we, as businessmen and women, we can help. We have the leverage to make it happen. And last year, he shook our hand. And when he was shaking her hand, there was a contract. It was like, you know, in a relay, he passing you the baton. I'm doing my part of the job, do yours. Okay? Thank you very much.